everyone, and welcome to another episode of Living Room Wisdom, where your story is your glory. I am Patrina Wisdom, author, speaker, and movement leader, and I have an incredible guest here with me today, this beautiful woman, Mari Corona, with Visions by Mari and Living in Mommywood. So, Mari, thank you. First off, welcome. Welcome.
Such a pleasure to finally be in the space together as opposed to being on the space.
It's so true. So Mari and I actually connected on the amazing social media, right? What an incredible way to connect with people, right? We're so lucky. And we really kind of dropped in quickly, met through a mutual friend who thought the two of us should get to know each other. And through our conversations and hearing about her work, I was like, you need to be a part of my Pure Abundance retreat in Belize.
Yes.
So we actually met for the first time right here in Belize during the week of retreat, and it's just been such an incredible honor to get to know you, but also to witness the power of your work. So I would love for you to do your own introduction and tell the audience a little bit about who you are, but also where you came from.
Okay. So my name is Mari Corona. I'm a healing through arts facilitator. I'm a wellness advocate, and I'm a writer and photographer, specifically landscape photography. And I came to this retreat, to this amazing woman, and to this amazing experience just through the process of a little girl in Brooklyn who wanted to be a landscape photographer, wanted to work with National Geographic, and basically her parents were like, just get a job. So that dream was put away, shut down completely, until about maybe 12, 15 years ago, I picked up another, an iPhone 5, and then just started snapping away at pictures, and it's been an amazing journey ever since.
And it's amazing because there's so many points within your story that I'm sure a lot of women can connect with, where you have this goal, you have this dream, you have this passion, this fire burning inside of you for something, and someone, whether it be your parents in your case, your spouse, your friends, your coworkers, that tell you, oh yeah, no, that's crazy, you can't do that, just go be normal, get a job, and stick within the status quo, right? And so where did you find the courage, or what was it that happened, or that you experienced that gave you the courage to then go step into that after so many years?
Well, I started dipping and dabbling into picking up the camera again. And at that point, I think my daughter was like maybe 12 by then. And I was like, I don't have to be a hands-on mom anymore. I don't have to be present at everything that's going on with her, because, now she's always been an individual, but now she's literally able to just do her own thing. And I don't want to say extra time, but I do have now the time to dedicate to what I really feel passionate about. So I just, went and I got the iPhone 5 and just started just strolling through the neighborhood, and just started looking at things differently and appreciating them differently, because now I was just doing something totally for myself.
Right, and that's such a big thing, and that's actually what this whole Pure Abundance retreat is about, is that most women don't take time for themselves. They don't carve out that time to really just be with themselves and with their thoughts and really pouring into their passions. So congratulations to you for creating that space and modeling that for your daughter, right? Yeah. Just one daughter, right?
Yes.
So modeling that.
Little Erica, Just one.
Right, because it's us. We learn how to be from our parents, right? Well, specifically from our moms as girls, right? So what our moms are, we're typically going to mirror that in our own relationships and in the way that we live our lives. So by you making a shift, that now gives your daughter permission also to make that shift in her life and make sure that she's one of the most important people in her schedule and in her. Exactly.
Yeah, actually, when she learned that I was going to be doing this retreat, she was very excited, because she was like, oh my God, that's an encouragement for me, because she's also an artist herself. She's a painter. So she's like, you're opening doors for the things that I want to do, the environments that I want to be in as well. So, you're making me very proud. So that's even more of an encouragement. That's more of a affirmation that I am walking in the space that I should be walking in. So it makes me very proud and very happy as well. So.
And you do landscape photography, right? I know you're like, okay, less about the people in the portraits and more about capturing the natural beauty. Correct. And you said something during your workshop about presence. So I'd love for you to just share that a little bit about how being behind that camera and capturing the things that other people don't see. I'd love for you to share a little about that.
Okay, so in the workshop, I encouraged everybody to be in the moment, in the space. And what I said is, as a landscape photographer, the difference between shooting portraits and shooting weddings or anything like that is that I am not affected by the energies of others. So I'm physically present in the moment, behind the lens, with myself, just engaging with the energy back and forth. And it's very soothing, very cathartic, very healing for me to be present in that moment and honoring that space, whether it's a flower, whether it's a reflection shot, whether it's the bees, whether it's birds, the presence of being in that moment and just soaking in the blessing and the tranquility and the space of that is one of the best places I can always find myself in.
And this has transformed your life through
Absolutely.
the practice of you saying yes to your passion, you starting back with your photography, you being present with whatever it is that you're photographing and being in that space. I heard you say and talk about how that's trickled into your life and how it's affected some of your relationships, and just give us a little insight into how you live your life now that you've become a full hell yes to your passion and to yourself, and how that's changed.
Well, for me, it's just allowed me to be protective of my space, be more aware, more conscious of my movements and my actions, whether it's I'm eating, whether I'm drinking, whether I'm investing time in a friendship or having dinner. Anything that I do now, I do more intentionally. And I take more joy, just more breath too. So it allows me to slow down.
Yes.
It allows me to slow down. I really don't engage in anything I don't want to do.
Yes.
So people ask me, what does that mean that you don't do anything you don't want to do? Life doesn't function that way. I said, no, life functions as you present yourself and what you choose to do. So for me, what I mean by not doing anything I don't want to do, I mean anything that's going to cause a detriment to my purpose, to my healing.
Boundaries.
So boundaries. So I don't really engage with people that their energy and the toxicity would deter my healing process. And it's not to say that we don't engage with people that have, issues that they're working with, but you make the choice on how you maneuver in those spaces. So it's allowed me, my photography has allowed me to slow down and be more mindful of the spaces and the things that I do and do not want to invest my time and energy in.
Which I love because, no, seriously, it's one of the things that most women need so much support in, because we're so used to being the yes women, right? And taking care of everybody else and then totally neglecting ourselves and putting ourselves on the back burner. And so when I work with women, I work with a 6-step wisdom system, and one of my steps is sacred self-care. And that's one of the main things I talk about in that step is boundaries. Caring for yourself, loving yourself enough to say no, and that no is a complete sentence. No explanation. No, nothing. Right? Yes. So I love that you are modeling that for all of us and also for your daughter. Now, I want to also find out a little bit more about living in Mommywood. Because I know that that's another part of you.
They bounce off one another. So the living in Mommywood came about maybe 14, 15 years ago. Parents would always ask me, moms specifically, how do you have time for, because I would always talk about I'm going to the salon, or I'm going to have lunch with my friends, or I'm gonna go to the movies, or I'm going to take myself to dinner. And they were like, how do you even have time for that? And I was like, I make the time. I said, if I'm not present in my life for me, I cannot be present for my child or relationship or anything like that. And people, come and always ask me like advice or just opinions or perspective or anything to that space. So I was like, let me write about it. And I was hesitant to write about it because I was like, that's going to mean, and it's going to require for me to really share personal.
To live it.
To live it and to be share intimate and personal things about myself that I may not really be ready to share. Then I had a conversation with my daughter. And she and I have an amazing relationship from the belly. And I think that you need to, if you want to have that, you have to start very, very young, very, they have to feel it too.
Yeah.
Right? Because they carry everything that happens with you. So we had a conversation, and I asked her, I said, how do you feel if I started to write about our family and about our life and about, she was like, what have you been waiting for? She was like, what are you waiting for? My friends are always coming to you for advice,
Yes.
which they were. And she goes, and my friends' parents are always coming to you for advice. So what are you waiting for? So I was like, okay. So I created the website, Living in Mommy. I picked up Living in Mommywood because I was like, it's parenting, right? The Mommywood aspect of it, and I'm living in Mommywood, but at the same time, it's almost like just living in my own.
Yes.
Abundance.
Yes.
Fabulous. Luxurious life.
Yeah.
Living in Mommywood, right?
I love it.
And then I just started writing, and one of the first pieces that I shared was showing up for yourself as your authentic self requires the work because you have to be peeling away.
Yeah.
Right? Like when we did in the workshop,
Yeah.
the peeling away of the layers. So it requires you to present yourself as who you are, be comfortable in that space as you're flowing, being a parent.
Yes.
And that you as a mother should not sacrifice because what you're doing is now you're causing resentment.
Yes.
You're causing discomfort in your home because now you're resenting the time that you have to invest in this simply because you're not investing time in yourself.
Exactly. You can't give what you don't have.
Right.
Yeah, and then you're also in turn modeling that for your daughter as well.
Exactly.
It's interesting how kids get it so much sooner than
adults.
we do, right? Than adults do.
Right.
So it's like we're worried about what they may think or what they may feel is being taken away from them,
Exactly.
and that's a scarcity mindset. But children don't function in scarcity; they
Not at
function
all.
in abundance. So we can learn so much from our children.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's amazing. I'm so
Yes.
excited.
No, me too,
Okay,
me too.
so one more question, and that is for all of the young women, older women that are out there listening that are still struggling to fully express who they are, who are still struggling to create those boundaries and just be so okay with them and living in their truth. What advice would you give to them? Or maybe they're even struggling with stepping forth into their passions like you did.
Well, I would suggest that you treat yourself the same way you would treat a friend. So if Patrina comes to me with a problem, I'm immediately going to come and do this.
Right.
And I'm immediately going to open my arms and show you kindness. So I suggest that we encourage the showing ourselves kindness. So show yourself kindness and say, I'm going to try this. It's not going to take away from my partner, it's not going to take away from my child or my children, it's not going to take away from my career. Just show yourself a little kindness. Let go of that planning, let go of that structure. Just even in slight
Loosen it
things.
up.
Then loosen it up just a little bit. Show yourself some kindness. Be okay with it, and try it anyway. It's like you made a comment about the scarcity.
Yes.
Right? Once you let go of a little bit of that scarcity, or even using fear as an adventure,
Yes.
switch
I like
it up
that.
in your mind and between using the word fear and change it to adventure.
Yes.
And just try something that you would not even do. Something as simple as maybe when you do go to a restaurant, try a different meal.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
If you go to the park, try a different trail. Anything that you just do a little step differently, it trickles into just doing bigger.
And it brings presence.
It brings presence.
It brings presence. It's like driving a car, right? You get up every single day and you get in your car and you drive your kid to school. The car can basically drive the kid to school on its own.
Yeah.
And so changing that, having some sort of a pattern interrupt brings you to presence. And this entire conversation has been being present with yourself, present with your art, present with your child. And so that's what we wish for you to take away from this segment. I thank you so much for being here with me in Belize.
Yes, and I'm just grateful for the opportunity to bring what brings me joy and healing and passion and smile. It just brings a smile. I'm always, as I was telling in the class, right, that I always have like my jaw hurts from the smiling. But I want to thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. Because there's a chance you took on me, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, and it worked out. So take chances.
Take chances.
Well,
don't feel afraid to reach out to someone that you may have been thinking of. Maybe they're not approachable. Just take the chance and just reach out, because it may be a yes, don't think it's going to be an automatic no.
Yeah. Yes, and I'm so glad I said yes because it was awesome. All right, so thank you again for tuning in to another episode of Living Room Wisdom. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Patrina Wisdom, and we are uploading videos weekly with incredible, inspiring women like Mari. So we will see you next time. Namaste.